For decades, Nigerians have grown used to one thing: big promises, little results, roads remain broken, schools decay, hospitals fail, and corruption thrives quietly in the background. But in Abia State, something unusual is happening. No noise, no drama, no political propaganda, just results. Today, we are asking a bold question. Has Governor Alex Otti become the best performing governor in Nigeria? And more importantly, what exactly is he doing differently? This is the story of Abia's quiet transformation. Nigeria is a country blessed with enormous human resources, talent, natural resources, and entrepreneurial energy. Yet, crippled by one stubborn weakness: governance. Across states, citizens have learned to expect very little from government. Roads collapse, hospitals lack drugs, schools deteriorate, and budgets disappear without visible impact. Political leadership, more often than not, has become a context of slogans instead of service. But in Abia State, something changed. In May 2023, Alex Otti, a banker turned economist, assumed office as governor. He inherited a state weighed down by debt, broken infrastructure, unpaid pension, and eroded public trust. Yet, within months, Nigerians began noticing something unusual. Roads were being rebuilt, not ceremonially commissioned, but quietly completed. Salaries and pensions were paid without protest. Government finances were published openly. Security improved. Schools reopened. Hospitals revived. There were no loud celebrations, just visible changes. Today, many Nigerians across party lines are asking one unthinkable question: is Alex Otti the best governor in Nigeria today? To answer that, we must look beyond headlines and into what exactly he is doing differently. Alex Otti's story does not begin in government. It begins in banking. For decades, Otti built a reputation as one of Nigeria's most competent financial managers, rising through institutions like Diamond Bank. He was known not for political charisma, but for discipline, precision, and accountability. Unlike most politicians, Otti entered public service not as a career politician, but as a technocrat, trained to solve problems, manage resources, and measure outcomes. This distinction matters because governance, at its core, is not about slogans. It is about systems. And from his first day in office, Otti approached Abia not as a politician seeking applause, but as a manager confronting a failing institution. His early decisions signaled a sharp break from Nigeria's political culture. There were no convoys of luxury vehicles, no bloated government houses, no dramatic press announcements. Instead, there were audits, financial reviews, project verifications, civil servant restructuring. He ordered a full forensic audit of Abia's finances, uncovering massive inefficiencies and revenue leakages. Ghost workers were eliminated, contract scams were reviewed, public funds were redirected from consumption to capital projects. In a system where opacity is normal, Otti chose transparency. In a system where delay is standard, he chose urgency. This technocratic mindset would define the tone of his administration. Across Nigeria, infrastructure projects often begins with ceremonies, but end without completion. Under Otti, Abia reversed the script. Within his first year, the government commenced and completed major road projects across Aba, Umuahia, Ohofia, Bende, Isukwato, and other zones, including long-neglected arteries that had crippled commerce and mobility for decades. Unlike previous administration, contracts were awarded transparently, timelines were enforced, contractors were paid promptly, but only after verification. Projects such as Port Harcourt Road in Aba, once symbolic of abandonment, became powerful symbols of revival. Drainage systems were built to control flooding, street light was restored, markets were reorganized, public spaces revived. But what truly stood out wasn't just speed, it was quality. Roads were built with reinforced drainages, proper shoulder and durable materials, not patchwork repairs, but long-term infrastructure. Abia's residents began to experience something unfamiliar in Nigeria, projects that actually last. Importantly, these developments weren't concentrated in one city. They were distributed across senatorial zones, reflecting not politics, but planning. Infrastructure became a tool for economic revival, not political reward. One of the most radical aspects of Alex Otti's leadership has been fiscal reforms. Nigeria's public sector is notorious for revenue leakages, inflated contracts, and padded budgets. Otti attacked this problem at the root. First, he blocked revenue leakages through digital tax collection systems, eliminating middlemen and cash transactions. Internally generated revenue (IGR) rose dramatically within months without increasing tax rates. Second, he cut government waste. Official travel budgets were slashed, vehicle fleets were reduced, political appointments were streamlined, procurement process were centralized and audited. Third, he published financial statements, allowing citizens to track government spending. This transparency built public trust and unlocked investor confidence. Under Otti, Abia began clearing pension arrears owed for over a decade. Civil servants received salaries consistently. Contractors were paid on time, restoring credibility between government and business. In Nigeria, where public workers often strike over unpaid wages, Abia became an exception. This financial discipline created something rare, a government that actually had room to invest. Few sectors reveal government failure more clearly than healthcare. Before Otti, many public hospitals in Abia lacked basic drugs, equipment, electricity, or water. Patients avoided government facilities, preferring private clinics or traveling to neighboring states. Within his first year, Otti began systematic rehabilitation of health infrastructure. General hospitals were renovated, diagnostic equipment were procured, drug supply chains were restructured to eliminate stockouts and corruption. Medical personnel's recruitment resumed. Health insurance coverage expanded, especially for vulnerable population, including pregnant women, children, and elderly citizens. More importantly, the administration restored dignity to health workers, ensuring timely payment of salaries, allowance, and promotions. Abia hospitals began to function not as emergency shelters, but as actual treatment centers. For a region long neglected by public health investments, this marked a quiet but historic turnaround. Educational reform in Nigeria is often discussed, rarely delivered. Under Otti, Abia prioritized foundational education, Schools were renovated, teachers were recruited and trained, learning materials were supplied, accreditation issues affecting tertiary institutions were addressed. But the most transformative shift was governance. School management systems were strengthened, attendance monitoring improved, budget allocation increased, wasteful duplication of agencies were eliminated. Higher institutions, such as Abia State University, received improved funding and infrastructure support, restoring credibility and academic programs. Importantly, education reform under Otti was not ceremonial. There were no photo ops with exercise books. There were classrooms rebuilt, teachers paid, students retained, systems strengthened. This approach, results over rhetoric, defined the administration's educational strategy. Security is one of the greatest challenges facing Southeast Nigeria. Kidnapping, armed robbery, cult violence, and separatist unrest have destabilized commerce and daily life across the region. Upon assuming office, Otti declared security a non-negotiable priority. He restored security coordination between state agencies, community leaders, and federal security forces. Surveillance systems were deployed. Patrol funding was improved. Intelligence sharing strengthened. But beyond hardware, Otti invested in trust. Community policing partnerships were strengthened. Vigilante structures were formalized and regulated. Youth engagement programs expanded, addressing unemployment-driven crime. Gradually, crime rates fell. Commercial activities resumed at night. Roads travel improved. Markets reopened. Abia did not become crime-free, but it became safer. And in Nigeria's current security climate, improvement itself is revolutionary. Nigeria's civil service often suffers from low morale, political interference, ghost workers, and stagnant productivity. Otti tackled this by restoring professionalism. He cleared pension arrears dating back over 10 years. Promotions were implemented. Training programs revived. Biometric verification eliminated payroll fraud. Ministries were reorganized to reduce duplication. Performance monitoring systems were introduced. Procurement was standardized. For the first time in years, Abia civil servants reported something rare: predictability. Salaries arrived on time, benefits were processed, transfers were transparent. This administrative stability became the invisible engine powering Abia's reform, because no government functions well when its workers are demoralized. Many Nigerian states announce investment deals, but few convert them into real projects. Otti adopted a different approach. Instead of roadshows and press conferences, he rebuilt Abia's fundamentals: infrastructure, security, governance, and finance. Investors noticed. Manufacturing activities began returning to Aba, Nigeria's historic industrial hub. SMEs received improved access to road, power, infrastructure, partnership, and financing programs. The state streamlined business registration process. Regulatory bottlenecks were removed. Land documentation was digitized. Abia's industrial revival did not come with ribbon-cutting ceremonies. It came with factories reopening, workshops expanding, trade volumes rising. The market spoke, not politicians. So what exactly makes Alex Otti different? First, He governs like a CEO, not a politician. Decisions are data-driven. Projects are evaluated. Systems are audited. Outcomes matter more than headlines. Second, he prioritizes institutions over personalities. No cult of personality, no godfather politics, no propaganda machinery, just functioning structures. Third, he practices radical transparency. Budgets are published, expenditures explained, projects verified, citizens informed. Fourth, he delivers speed without chaos. Major reforms happen within months, not years, without disrupting governance stability. Fifth, he governs quietly, no noise, no theatrics, no political battles, just work. In a Nigerian political culture dominated by spectacle, Otti's silence became his loudest statement. Results spoke louder than rallies. Infrastructure louder than slogans. Competence louder than propaganda. Best Governor is not a title awarded by law. It is earned through outcomes, measured by infrastructure delivery, fiscal discipline, healthcare access, education reform, security improvement, civil service functionality, and public trust. By these metrics, Alex Otti ranks amongst Nigeria's strongest performing governors today, not because he claims it, but because Abia residents experience it, not because party structure promotes it, but because evidence supports it. His governance style signals a deeper possibility that Nigerian states do not suffer from lack of resources, but lack of systems. And that with discipline, integrity, and competence, governance in Nigeria can work. Abia's transformation under Alex Otti is more than a state success story. It is a governance experiment, one that suggests that Nigeria's problem is not complexity, but leadership, not poverty, but waste, not lack of ideas, but lack of execution, and perhaps most importantly, that governance does not require noise to succeed. It requires structure, it requires accountability, it requires courage. Aba is not yet perfect, but it is moving decisively in the right direction. And in a country where stagnation has become normal, progress itself feels revolutionary. The question now is not whether Alex Otti stands out. It is whether Nigeria's political system is ready to learn from him. If Nigeria had more governors, focused on systems instead of slogans, institutions instead of propaganda, and service instead of politics, the country would look very different. If you believe competence should define leadership, not party loyalty, then this story matters. Like this video, share it, subscribe to Ten10 Media, because Africa's future will not be shaped by noise, but by results.